Hey guys, welcome back. This is Professor Hank, and in this video I'm going to show you how to use three different member functions for reading and writing files in C++. Okay, so these are the functions we're going to look at, and basically what they have, maybe thing that they have in common, what separates them from using the stream insertion and extraction operators, right? Instead of using these guys, why you'd want to use getline, put, or get is that getline, put, and get work with white space, right? Remember that these operators right here, they'll stop reading once they encounter white space. So new line, character, tab, just a single space in the file. They're done, right? So getline works with files the same way it works with string objects, in that it's going to read by default all of the characters up until the new line character, right? Until you hit a delimiter. Now you can change that delimiter to whatever you want with a third argument, but we're going to feed this thing the stream object as its first argument, and then the second argument is going to be a string variable that we want to store what we read into, and then put and get. Put is going to take as an argument a method, or a character variable, and it's going to write that character to the file. And then get is going to take as an argument a character that you want to, a character variable that you want to store a character that you read from the file, right? So getline takes a whole line, put writes one character at a time, and then get reads one character at a time. So let's take a look at some code. Alright, so I already made a text file ahead of time for the video, and just, Mary had a little lamb. I put it in the same location as my main.cpp, so I don't have to do any weird path stuff. Okay, and so what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to start off by creating an fstream object, and I'm going to open my file, Mary, for reading. Okay, and then we'll check to make sure that it's open before we try processing the file. And then, if it doesn't open successfully, we'll print out a message. And so try to read the first line into a string variable called line, and I'll do it using the stream extraction operator, right? So that way we can see that this is going to be kind of a problem. I'll go ahead and just display the contents of line, to show you that, we're not going to get the entire line, right? So you can see there's just Mary there. Where's the rest of that first line? Well, remember that operator stops at white space. So a space is white space, right? So we only got the Mary. It read Mary into variable line and then stopped, right? So if we want the entire first line, this isn't going to do it. What we're going to use instead is we're going to use the getline function, and it's going to work a similar way to how it works for console input, right? So if you're going to read a line from the keyboard, you put C in here, right? Well, we're not reading from the keyboard, we're reading from a file. So what did we open a file with? We opened it with that fstream object, which I named F, right? So we're going to use F here instead. And then just like if it was from the console, you use the string variable name, we're going to do that here too. Okay, so that's going to read everything up to the first new line character. So now we can see Mary had you read the entire first line, stopping at the end. Now you could specify a third argument, which is going to be the non-default delimiter, right? The default delimiter is the new line character. But if you specify a single space, well, then it'll stop reading at a space, just like we had before. Or you could even use a different character like Y, right? And so it'll keep reading up until it sees the Y character, and so we only got the mar, right? But by default, it goes all the way up through new line character. Now, here's the thing. What if I want to read the entire file, right, line by line? Well, then this isn't going to get the job done. I mean, I could be gross and, repeat this code, what was it, 4 times, right? I could duplicate it 4 times, all right? And that would work. It's also very filthy and disgusting and gross looking, but you know, it does the job. Now, what if I don't know how long the file is ahead of time? Here I do because I wrote the thing, but if I don't know ahead of time how long it is, I'm going to need a loop. Right? So getline, the way it works is when you successfully read from a line, the variable name f essentially gets assigned true, right? And so we can leverage that as part of a loop. So we could do something like this. We could say while f, okay? And if you successfully read from the file, then f is true, and so then this test expression will evaluate the true, and then you can enter the body of the loop, print out your line, and don't forget, so you don't have an infinite loop, you know, grab the next line from the file, right? And so once it reads the last line, tries to read again, well then f is going to be set to false, right? And so then that'll bust us out of our loop, okay? And so now you can see we actually saw the entire contents of the file, and we didn't need to know ahead of time how many lines there were in the file. Okay, so yeah, so that's how getline works. Now, what if I wanted to read? What if I wanted to read each from the file one character at a time, right? If I want to read from the file one character at a time, well, that's where the get function is going to come into play, right? So, you know, maybe I just want to read the first, you know, maybe I want to read the first 3, 5, 10, 12, whatever number of characters I want, right? So what if I want to read, we'll say the first 6, okay? So I'll create a loop that will repeat 6 times, okay? And create a local variable here called c. We're reading one character at a time, and so I'll just use f.get, and I'll read into, right? It's going to read a character from the file, put it into the character variable c, and then I'll just print that on the screen, right? Now, you could do what I just did and print it on the screen, or you could take that character and use it somewhere else in your program. I mean, whatever you want to do. Right here, I'm just trying to keep the example simple so you can see that, yeah, you can do it one character at a time. Okay, so you can see on the output there, there's 6 characters, M, A, R, Y, space, H. So get's going to read, you know, white space as well. Okay, so that's how that works. Now, what if I wanted to, you know, write to a file one character at a time, right? So let's say that I had, you know, a character array, and I initialized it with some C string, right? So Mary, or maybe I'll do something else. I'll do Hank S dot, right? Hank is my last initial. Okay, so what I could do is I could create a loop, okay, and I'll just go element by element, writing each element to the file one at a time. Okay, so long as foo of I does not equal the null terminator, because remember that's a C string in that character array, so the null terminator is going to be added on implicitly. Then what I can do is I can say, well, f.put, and then I'll pass the character that I want to write to the file. Okay, so that'll just do it one character at a time. Now this is going to be overwriting. Almost forgot to set iOS to out. That'll overwrite Mary, so whatever was in there is going to be gone here in a second. That's the default behavior unless you use iOS app. Okay, now there's no output because why? I didn't no cout statements here. I just wrote the contents of my character array. So let's go look and see how Mary.txt has changed. There you go. So it wrote everything, including that white space character, right? So I did that with an array. Now I can also do it one character at a time, right? I could use character literals, right? I could put a new line character at the end, because remember there was no new line character written in my loop here, so I'll put a new line character at the end, and then I'll put, you know, H, and then I, and then I'll write a tab, right? Because you can write white space with the put method, just like you can read white space with the get method. Okay, and then I'll put another new line character. A new line character is also white space too. But now each one of those is going to write a character at a time. So let's go see how Mary.text changed. So put a new line character at the end that moves the cursor down to the beginning of the line, HI. Then this is a tab, that's why there's multiple spaces here. And then we did the exclamation point, then a new line character, so now we're at the beginning of the next line, right? So a new line character, HI, tab, exclamation point. Actually, I shouldn't have that there. Okay. The exclamation point with that backslash, you didn't see a backslash there because I just escaped my exclamation point, which doesn't really mean anything. It's not an escape sequence, so it got ignored. But anyway, so we didn't need it. So there's the exclamation point backslash n, and then I could, you know, create a character variable, another character variable out here, and say char g equals a question mark or something, and then I could do f.put rg, right? So these are going to work with, put's going to work with, you know, array elements, character literals, character variables. You know, it doesn't matter. It takes a character as an argument. So then you can see there's the question mark. Okay. So yeah, so that's everything I wanted to show you in this video. I showed you how to read whole lines from a text file using getline. Showed you how to read a character at a time using the get function, and then showed you how to, you know, write to a file one character at a time using the put function. Okay, so that's going to bring this video to a close. If you felt that the video was useful, please consider giving the video a thumbs up, and if you thought that the video sucked, well, then you've got that thumbs down button as an option as well. If you'd like to see more videos, if you're interested in more content from the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button. And as usual, if you're a student of mine and you have further questions, feel free to drop me an email or to stop by my office hours. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.